Their show live on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a interesting show tonight. I hope everybody's had a great week. Um, my week has been busy, been okay. Went by fast, but just the weather here is kind of cloudy and rainy, and so it feels that way. Um, but we're here and we made it to Friday. Yes, we are here at the weekend, and we have a good show, good topic tonight. Number one is couple Keianna and Ronnel Burns seemed happy and successful on social media, but later wife Keianna kills husband and then herself. What were the red flags in this relationship? Excuse me. Do you know how to identify those red flags in your relationships? Let's discuss. The second part of that is how many times do you allow someone to cheat before you leave the marriage? So those are our two topics tonight, and we're not saying anybody cheated. That's just a separate topic. I know there is some speculations. We will get into all of that momentarily, but first, when you come in, click share. Um, an interesting topic. This a theme that I'm pulling from this story, and we'll get into that, is just because it looks good on social media or people look good on the outside, there's so much stuff that may be going on behind the scenes. And so we do have to be careful. But welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dr. Dare show. Let me make sure that my okay, it's live. So when you come in, click share. Welcome. Happy Friday. Yes, yes, yes. So I don't know where you are, but in Georgia, it is very cloudy, rainy, very dreary, very yucky. Today, I think it's supposed to stay. I think it's supposed to rain like that for the whole week. But we're glad to be alive, glad to be here. Like I said, we have an interesting topic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. When you come in, click share, click like. Please share the video because we will be describing red flags. We'll have people discuss their red flags that they've seen in relationships. But our primary focus will be on Keianna and Ronnel Burns, um, and social media influence couple influencers. They were social media influencers, and you know they seemed happy and successful on social media, but later wife Kiana kills husband and then herself. And so we want to, what were the red flags in this relationship? Do you know how to identify red flags in your relationships? And um that's first part of the question. And then number two is, how many times do you allow someone to cheat before you leave the marriage or any relationship for that matter? But we haven't started yet. We will start momentarily. Um, just waiting for people to join. Waiting for people to join. When you come in, click share. Click share. Ah! Hope everybody's having a great Friday. If you don't work on the weekends, welcome to the weekend. You get to relax, do self care, spend time on yourself. Make sure you have a healthy mind. That those things are important, to practice self care, because we run so much, we stay busy, and we don't give ourselves that break. So please, if you don't get anything else out of this video, self care. Self care could look like anything. It could be taking a bubble bath, getting a mani pedi, getting a facial, taking a walk around the block, listening to music, whatever it is that relaxes you. Hey, Tanisha, how are you? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. How's your week been, Tanisha? So, yeah, self care, self care, self care. So, when you guys come in, click share, click share, click share. And we will start at 8:40 like we normally do. Um, yeah. So, and check out my TikTok videos. lately they've been on grieving and trying to process if you've lost a loved one, trying to process that and deal with that during the holidays, which can be hard for a lot of people. So I'm kind of doing a series of those type of videos on my TikTok videos, but there's tons of other videos that deal with mental health issues, dating, relationships, anxiety, depression. I think all things are out there. So yes, and that's what I will do. So when you come in, Tanisha said a busy week, but it's over now. Yes, yes, I feel you. Like I feel like swamped the whole week, like unable to lift my head and see what's going on in the world. Um, but yeah, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and we will start. Oh, so that's in professional mode. Okay, it is over. Thank God. It is over. It is over. I am good, Tanisha. Just tired. I'm tired. It's just been, like we said, a long week. I did a project. Well, I volunteered to be a part of a project at my job, and that just kind of made the week seem like overwhelming. Hey, Pat, how are you? Dr. Pat, did that PowerPoint, Pat, that I sent you, did that help you? Hey, Mike, how are you? Miss you on our Saturday morning boot camps. Ooh, I feel you. Good, Pat. Pat, did that PowerPoint help you at all? The one for the dissertation or oral defense? Whew. I am tired, y'all. Really exhausted. Uh, so we will start at 8:40. When you come in, click share and like the video. We will be talking about red flags. We will be talking about our first topic is couple Keianna and Ronnel Burns seemed happy and successful on social media. Um, but later, wife Keianna kills husband and then herself. What were the red flags in this relationship? Do you know how to identify red flags in your own relationships? And then um, number two, I just had that up there. Oh, oh, oh. So, and number two, how many times do you allow someone to cheat before you leave the marriage? That's the second question. So, we will be covering those two topics in a few. So, it is that time. So, I don't want to hold us long because I am tired as well. Okay. So the first question or the first topic that we will be discussing is like I said, couple Kiana and Ronnell Burns seem happy and successful on social media, but later wife Kiana kills husband and then herself. What were the red flags in this relationship? And do you know how to identify red flags in the relationship? So let me give you a little background of the story and I will read some of the um, articles that I found on this story. Um, but then first of all, I'll let Kiana speak for herself. This is a video that she made. Hey Kelly, how's your week been? Um, we're gonna share this via video of Kiana Burns, kind of right before she killed her husband and killed herself. And the theme that I'm taking away from this story is that people present very good on social media. You think their lives are so positive and happy, and but most times it's a facade because most people have so much stuff going on. Yeah, Kelly, that's how it's been for me. This whole week has been like that. I volunteer for a project at work, and I feel ran down. Trust me, I think everybody that I've ran to this week has been saying it. But then it's gloomy outside. I don't know if everybody's feeling that negative, low energy out in the environment, but I know me and some of my Zumba students were talking about that earlier, how it just feels like there's this negative, depressing feeling online. So anyway, I got off my topic. I want to show a video of Keianna talking right before she killed her husband. So let me get to that video real quick, and I will share that while people are coming on. You just never know what people are going through. So yeah, let's see if we can get. And let me know if you can hear it. She's not talking yet. But this is the wife that murdered her husband, I think right after this video, she made this video. I'm gonna go. Oh, probably should have.
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, y'all? Hey, Kimberly. Hey, y'all. How y'all day going? Good morning. Good morning. What's up, Michael Cohen? How you doing, brother? Now, y'all
Thank you,
know I
Tanisha.
don't be doing this Facebook Live stuff. I I just felt the need to hop on here for just a moment, not long at all, and kind of just talk about life changes. Um for those that don't know, about 5 6 months ago, my husband and myself, we moved to Atlanta to expand our business. um Still have the beauty and barber salon in St. Louis, Missouri. Y'all know that's the hometown, but we did come here to expand. We did a lot of great things in Missouri, so Atlanta is a place where I always wanted to be. What's up, y'all? What's up, Amanda? Um, but look, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't stay prayed up and you don't keep faith, things can swivel in and take you out. I'm telling you, you guys, like the transition.
Oh, her phone went out.
It wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. And when you come to a new state or city, and you're trying to learn people, and you're trying to learn, the things that they do, and that could be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids, it's just us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got nobody. We can't drop the kids off at our kinfolk's house. We can't go. So right now my husband is, at a retreat. I stayed back due to because we have our children here. However, you all, I just want to talk on her because you have to be prepared for life changes. no matter what it is that's taking place. And I'm trying to encourage someone because things in your life can change for the good or the bad overnight, literally. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Um, I've come in contact with so many people where they feel like they can't make it to the next day because certain circumstances happen. But you have to know the things that you're going through is for a reason. Now, you may not even be going through something for you yourself. It may be for somebody else and someone else's strength. So I made a post earlier where I said you have to continue to encourage people because what you're going through could be their lifeline to survive. You know what I'm saying? And I know for me, sometimes when I get on social media, yeah, we all know it's like we get on there and we be like, social media, I just can't stand it. It get on my nerves. People this, that. But I'm telling you, it's some strong sisters and brothers on social media that keep me going some days. Like real talk. I have some very positive people that's on my timeline and they help me through my gloomy days because yes, I do have them. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, if I'm being totally, perfectly honest, I'm having one right now. And
mm,
the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you got to reach out and tell people that you need love, you need support, you need care, you just need a hug. And honestly, you guys, I need that. I need that right now. I mentor so many women. I encourage so many women. I pump life and positivity in so many women.
mm.
But sometimes I need that myself. And God knows right now, I need that, you all. Hey, everybody. What's up, Roy? What's up, y'all? I'm just saying, like, you got to get to the point where you got that love circle that's going to support you no matter what, that's going to be there for you no matter what, that's going to be able to help you and talk you through things that you feel like you just can't get through. Because if we leave things to ourselves, we start thinking to ourselves and we start making bad decisions. But you got to have somebody. I always say, if I'm not around people that can help me stretch, I'm not around the right type of people.
Mm,
You gotta have people that's around you that's not yes men, people that's gonna help you think, people that's gonna help guide you to positivity, to greatness, to things you really need to do and be in life. And that's what I want around me. It's a lot of people that I used to hang with and I love them to death and love their souls, but they're not where I want to be. They're not. It's places I want to be in life. It's things I want to do. And I've just decided for myself that I'm going to figure out a way to get around those people. Because every day, Keianna want to keep growing. And you should too. You guys, I'm asking you one thing. Because I really need it right now. I need prayer. I need prayer. I need strength. I need love. I do. Stay encouraged. I'm going to go in my home, go in my little prayer room. I'm going to talk to God. Y'all pray for me. And I promise I'm going to keep praying for everybody else that need encouragement. I love you all. Talk to you soon.
So, what did y'all get out of that video? So, this lady, as I posted, in just over 2 weeks before the murder suicide, Keianna Burns, who owned the Critique Design Beauty and Barber Salon in St. Louis, publicly revealed on Facebook that she was struggling to adjust to her new life in Georgia without the extended family and friends. So she killed herself, killed her husband, and killed herself. What do y'all think about this? uh, video. Tanisha says definitely a cry for help. Yes. And see, listening to her, and I hate to say this, but sometimes I think we depend on prayer, and I don't know if sometimes that doesn't help because it seems like there was nobody there for her to talk to. Like she said, she's pouring herself out to everybody else, but then um, I guess she didn't have that for that support, and we all need a strong support system. Kelly says mental aware mental awareness is so important. You can hear when she started to break as her voice quivered. Social media can be an optical illusion. I can't talk. You never know what someone is dealing with. Yes, and thank you for saying that, Kelly. That's a prime thing that I got out of this whole situation is that we think they look good because I mean they had a lot of followers. They had, like she said, she was pouring into women and being a mentor to them and supporting them. All along, her life was falling apart, and so Pat says she was crying out for help. Yep, and I agree with all of y'all that yeah, she was crying out for help, but no one heard her. And so what was going on with her? And here's a clip to that video or to the rest of the story if you want that. And this was people who are just coming back. But would you have thought that this couple was getting a divorce? Because in an article, in a moving testimony posted on Facebook well before the tragedy, Ronnel stated that he and Kalani agreed to divorce but keep the businesses intact so they wouldn't disrupt their family or employees that depend on them. So, see, there was a lot of stuff she was hiding probably from family and friends, but here they are. Her husband, her deceased husband, is saying that they were going to get a divorce. Now, a little history on Ronnell. Back in the day, he was on divorce court um, with his ex-wife, not Keianna, on divorce court, saying where he was cheating a lot. And so that kind of sparked my second question. I think that's still under investigation. I don't know, but what I think was going on, and this is just me speculating, is that he probably moved her here to Georgia, and she was all alone with her kids, and the stress of moving, like you heard in her voice, the stress of moving to a new state with 8 children, mind you, and a husband, and he was on some retreat or something at the time she did this video. I'm thinking that he was probably constantly cheating, and she was holding it out all in, which is what brought the question up to me is, um, do you recognize how do you recognize red flags? Do you see any red flags in here that she probably or we looking at her ignored or her fans ignored? I hope I'm making sense. Um, and we can only speculate because we don't know the history of this family. Uh, Pat says she couldn't cope with life stressor, right? And the big life stressor at this moment was her relocating from St. Louis, I believe, to Atlanta. And anybody that has moved from one city to another knows that that is a lot of pressure. And not talking about Atlanta, but Atlanta has a lot of people here, especially if he was a cheater. Atlanta has a lot of people here that you know, you can have your pick of women or men or whatever your choice is. And I think all of that stress got to her. Let me see. Let me see what y'all are saying. Pat says maybe she didn't want to get the divorce, and I think that that's what it is. But in some other clips too, I think Keianna was struggling with mental health, and that's why I say it's always important. If you feel like you are overwhelmed and you can't handle the relationship or the situation that you're in, please seek a therapist because, like she said, she was pouring, giving her all to all these women and supporting them, but she didn't have anybody to support herself. Maybe if she would have went to a therapist we wouldn't have got to this point where there was this murder suicide. And this leads me to another thing. When you're in a relationship, if you don't love somebody and you feel like you got to keep cheating, just leave them alone. Don't, because this, and I'm not saying he was. So I have a lot of people on here, and I don't know everybody on here, but I'm just saying, um, if you're cheating on somebody, leave them alone. Go do that on your own. Because this kind of stuff, playing with people's emotions, can be overwhelming, especially if they're already struggling. Um, and Mike says, I know this is a negative statement, but I would not move to ATL with my spouse. Mike, and that's kind of what I was saying, because I agree with you. Like, it's so much, and I hate to say it's not Atlanta. It's just there's so many beautiful people here. There's so many choices of people here. And if you are a cheater, this is a place where you don't want to bring your spouse. For the people that don't live in ATL, uh, listen to Mike, listen to Kelly. this, this is probably not where you want to bring that person, especially if you've already know they have a track record of infidelity. So, hey, Angela, glad you jumped on. And Angela says, hello, everyone. If you cheat, you got to go. Yeah. And I think Kiana just kept ignoring the red flags, because in your gut feeling, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not. Can you feel if somebody is cheating on you? Like, do you feel that in your gut or intuition or whatever you want to call it? I had one client calling it a energy source. Do you feel when your energy in your energy source, or your gut, or your intuition, or whatever you want to call it? Can you tell when somebody's cheating on you when you're in a relationship? And Kelly says, yes, if you are connected to them. And I agree. Oh, I got you, Kelly. Yes, if you're connected to them. And Angela's like, if you cheat, you got to go. Tanisha says, of course. But I think a lot of us, we deny those feelings. We deny our intuition. Um, and our, like what my client calls an energy source. That energy source is telling you that the person is cheating, but we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. um but I'm here to tell you, if anybody is listening right now and then that's what you're feeling, don't keep doing that. Either confront the person. Um if they don't give you what you if they're not able to communicate with you what you feel is effective, then maybe go to couples counseling. I'm always going to suggest that. Everybody who watches this show knows that that's my number one thing. I don't care how early the relationship is, because what happens is a lot of couples won't communicate with each other at home, but when they get in front of a therapist, somebody that they don't know, um, they tend to talk and say more. Mike says, so we said Kelly says yes. Tanisha says, of course, definitely energy. Kelly says, Mike says, these days people have cheating uh, to the well-made craft. Oh yeah, they are clever with it, but you can feel it. You feel if you are like everybody else was saying, if you're connected to that person, you know when something changed. You know when that, like Kelly said, that energy changed, and that's a red flag. And it's like we have to become in tune with ourselves. I think what happens is, I always tell my clients, we don't collect enough data when we're dating somebody. We get all in our feelings. We want the butterflies in our stomach, and we want to be in love, but we don't really connect. Of like, how are we feeling when I hang out with this person? How was their childhood? How do they communicate with their parents? How do they communicate when things go wrong? We don't collect that data, and that leads you to getting involved with somebody that's probably not with you. So if you don't take anything else away from this, because I do couples counseling all the time, and what I always tell, especially women, single women, I'm like, collect data. Don't ever stop collecting data when you meet somebody. Don't get trapped in the love thing because it's just what is Tina Turner says, what love got to do with it. And that is a true statement. I used to hear that song all the time, but it really, 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 the lyrics are really true. Um, because I've seen couples where they would come in and they're like, yeah, we love each other. And then I'm like, do y'all like each other? And they're like, no, we don't. And Pat says, yes, indeed. And Mike says, yes, Frederick. Yes, yes, yes. But I think Kiana ignored the red flags that were glaring in her life. Ronnel actually was on the TV show Divorce Court, where his ex-wife was accusing him of cheating several times. And usually if people who are cheating don't go get some kind of professional help, they are going to keep that negative behavior going. Because sometimes, to me, when somebody's a cheater, it's more than the cheater, and sometimes it's a sexual addiction. I've talked about this before on the show. Sometimes it's low self-esteem and they need that new person to build their self-esteem even though they have somebody else, or they're just a cheater. But I believe there was more to this. All of us that listened to that video, we could hear the cry in her voice, and um, she was crying for help, and she was suffering. And then I think they probably thought, well, if we move from St. Louis to Atlanta, that things will get better. We'll get to expand our business, like Mike said, like Kelly said. Like I say, Atlanta is a whole different ball game. So if you don't come here with confidence and somebody that really, really loves you, genuinely loves you, and you genuinely love them, and there's a strong foundation in the relationship, don't come here. Don't. And I hate to say that because that sounds bad and like it's not Atlanta, it's just the environment. So yeah, what else the red flags do you think um Kiana ignored? Because they had 8 children too. Let's see. Let me find some more information. Um, yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your other thoughts while I look up more information? This is horrible. And like this happened in Sandy Springs, so not far from any of us that live in Georgia around this area. Sandy Springs is not far. And there's a place where they're saying she was struggling with her mental health. And again, if you feel like you are struggling, um, this is another thing they were saying she was struggling. She revealed that she was struggling with her mental health and was worried that she wasn't strong enough, and made it clear she was asking for help. Um, yes, help, 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 help. Um, Kelly says, let's see replying to Mike Banks. Good question. What did Mike ask? Did I miss Mike's question? Oh, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Hold on. Mike says, you think she was so embarrassed that she couldn't see her breakup in social media since she was a social media influencer? Yes, a lot of that has to do with, and I think Kelly was replying to that. She says yes too. A lot of it is that pride that we have and trying to uphold being a social media influencer. Um, and that's when I do stuff. When I'm making those videos, I'm like, some of this stuff is for me, for my own mental health. The 5 videos that I do all the time. Some of the stuff I'm talking to myself. But you have to know when you need help and not get caught up in this social media stuff. Cause yeah, I think you do have a good question there, Mike. And Mike says, do you think she was so embarrassed that she couldn't see her um, see her breakup in social media since she was a social media influencer? Yes, but I think, and this is just my perspective, I think she saw those red flags. because I think this is who Ronnel was. I think, um, if you go look up any of these articles, um, you know, and probably go back and look at that divorce court video. Let me see if I can find it. It'd be interesting to see. Um, yeah, thanks Kelly for jumping in and answering uh, questions. I'm gonna come back to those on divorce court. Oh, so I have the video of him on divorce court. So I think I'm going to show that little clip so we can kind of see a little bit more about if it comes up. Yeah, so while that's coming up, oh, here we go. While that's pulling up, um, let's see what you guys are saying here. Um, Tanisha says these married people here be more single than me, right? Kelly says, is this Kelly? Yeah, she was probably the only one stuck with the kids, which kept her distracted. Yeah, trying to manage the kids, trying to adjust to um, relocating and still setting up those businesses. The kids. Okay, so y'all, I have him on social media. I mean, on divorce court. So hold that thought. Okay, I'm stop sharing. I'm gonna share that screen. Here's Ronnel and his ex-wife.
All my face. All I want to know is, did he physically prohibit you from leaving the house that day?
The roof has caved in on Ronnel and Avis's marriage, and they're both racing to cut their ties to each other once and for all today on Divorce
So
Court.
this is the husband, and Kelly's replying to Mike.
Court is now in session.
Uh,
Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good
Abraham
day,
and they
ladies
be
and
in a
gentlemen.
poly
Happy wedding day
lifestyle.
to
Yes.
Avis Burns and Ronnel Burns. Mr. and Mrs. Burns, you two have been married 4 years, although you have been separated
Can y'all
for
hear it?
some
Let me know if
time
you can
now.
hear
You
it.
do have two children together, or at the very least, you believe you have two children together. Mr. Burns, you are questioning the paternity of your children. And as a function thereof, you had asked us to give a DNA test to your children, and we have done that. And we do have the results here for you today. Mrs.
Oh,
Burns is
turn it up.
asking for a significant amount of transitional support, which we will discuss.
Kelly, that
Before I
might be
do
your
that, Ms.
phone.
Burns, I'm going to talk to you first. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and why we're here in divorce court?
Oops.
We're here because of distrust with my wife. That's the ultimate reason why we're going through this divorce. Start back when we first met. I met my wife about 5 years ago on a business venture that she decided not to really take a part of at that time. I was dating a young lady, so even though she decided the business venture wouldn't work, she continued to send me text messages. It was more spiritual than anything about the Lord and Jesus, and it was all great.
Now wait a minute. We just got from business venture to Jesus, and
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how we got there. And so let's slow it down a little bit. Let's slow it down. You two were in a business venture together.
Yes, I was in a business. I was in sales. I tried to recruit her into the sales venture. Somewhere or the other, she decided it wasn't for her.
Okay.
But she continued to communicate with me innocently through a text because I was in a relationship. So was she. One day, all of a sudden, a text come through and it's like, you can't get what God got for you because you're holding on to something old. So I was like, okay, this seemed like it could be a group text, but it seemed like she was kind of making that pass towards me. So one day it came to the point about talking about going on a date or a lunch or something like this, but I was still in a relationship, just got a little rocky. So after the conversation, I agreed. I said, okay, we can go to lunch or something like that. But then when it's time for the lunch, I never called her. So she said, what's up? If we ain't going, just tell me because I'm sitting around. I could be doing something else. And I said, actually, yeah, we're not going to go because I'm still in this relationship. I don't feel good about this. If this relationship do end, I'll get with you then. So relationship terminated. I inboxed on Facebook. I said, hey, I'm free now if you still want to do that date. We went on that date that weekend, and we've been together, since then.
Good story. Ms. Burns, is that what happened?
Yes, that happened, and I'm not going to
Were you
refuse that.
continuing to text this guy even though you knew he was with another chick?
Yes, I sent out texts. He was in my phone, so I just used to send out like spiritual texts. You know what I'm saying? I had just gave my life to God. You know what I'm saying? So I was just going through a transition in my life at the same time.
At one point, did those texts turn romantic
It never
or
turned
at
like
all
that.
flirtatious or
Never,
inviting?
never. I sent out that text to everybody in my phone. That was not a specific text for him.
How did let's go to dinner? Are we ever going to go to dinner? How did that
Oh, I
happen?
did it because we had talked back and forth at the same time, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it'd be nice for us to go out on a date and all that." I was like, "Okay, that's fine."
But you
And
knew
then
that
I
he
was
was
texting him. I didn't know what was going on. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You
You're
did
honest.
know.
Hang
No,
on.
I did not because you was back and forth, acting like you was either in the relationship or out of the relationship. You did. I mean, basically that's with our marriage at the same time right now. But we're talking on these things right here.
I got it. Well, tell me about the vacation at the lake. Who wants to tell me about
I'm
that?
gonna tell you because she
Okay.
gonna tell it wrong. We was on a vacation at the lake. This was about 3, maybe 6 months into our marriage, and we just having a good time. The family there, my brothers, everybody. And all of a sudden, I started having these intuitions, and it was like that she was dealing with some other guy. So I asked her. I'm like, we laying down. It's like, are you seeing another guy or are you talking to another guy? She was like, no, what you talking about? You know, acting all oblivious. So we get home, I tell her log into a social network. She logged into a social network. When she logged in social network, I'm like, let me pull up. I'm going through all her inboxes. All of a sudden, she talking to this guy about how handsome he is and why he never tried to get with her when they were younger. She wished that they had gotten together. Then she say, yeah, and I want to come over to your house. You know, can I come to your house? Now, mind you, before we went to the lake, before I knew this and had these intuitions, she was telling me when we got back home, I have a 7-year-old daughter that's not with her, that live with her. But she was telling me to find a babysitter for my 7-year-old daughter. I'm like, what we need a babysitter? You're a stay-at-home mom in my head, but I'm like, okay, maybe she want to get out with the girls or whatever. When I read this Facebook, she trying to get me to get a babysitter so she can go over some guy's house. And when I read all this, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm just going over the guy's house. We weren't gonna do nothing. I'm like, you going to his house to play bingo? You gonna play spades? Because you know what? You don't need to go to his house to do that.
When divorce court continues.
Okay, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this video? Do y'all What do y'all think about that video, y'all? Y'all said Angela said a bunch of drama. Tanisha said that the plot thickens. I just think, yeah, I'm just like, you know. And then I think some people just like attention. So the second part of this question, because we've been on here for a while, any more on this? We can still talk about this topic. Mike says it just explains he is a clout chaser and dramatic. Yep, and that's what I think. And I think Mike, what you said earlier about her being on social media and being a social media influencer probably kept her trying to uphold this relationship and this perfect image for society and for their followers just to make them look good instead of and trying to hold all of that in that it became too much and it started to impact her mental health, which then led to her um, committing the suicide, the murder suicide for her and her husband, and that was her husband in that video. So if you are just joining, we are talking about um, and I will because I see a lot more people on here. This is what we're talking about. Couple Keianna and Ronnel Burns seemed happy and successful on social media, and but later wife Keianna kills husband, and that's the husband that's in that divorce court video, but that's not Keianna. Then kills herself, and they were. What were the red flags in the relationship? And we kind of talked about that already. And so, from this, I wanted to ask you guys, like, um, the second part of the question is, how many times do you allow someone to cheat before you leave a marriage or a relationship? And we kind of had this question before, but I wanted to bring it up. Um, Now, so what do y'all think? How many times do you allow someone to cheat before you leave the marriage or leave the relationship? And I thought of this question because of the scenario that we talked about. And Angela really quickly answered one time only. Yeah. So you'll give them one time, Angela. You'll let them cheat that one time. Um, but how would you handle that? What would be the way that you kind of got the relationship back on check? Would you do some kind of counseling? Uh, how would you secure your trust in this person? Because what I do see a lot of is once somebody cheats on somebody in a relationship, it's very hard for that other person to trust that other person ever again. Like it's a really big struggle. And Angela says because uh we are married. Only because we were married. Like what if it was a and I get that. What if you were just like boyfriend girlfriend and you know or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. What um would you stay if it wasn't a marriage? Uh And okay, and Kelly says because there's levels to cheating, emotional and physical, and some pick and choose what they consider cheating. And so, how would you handle that? And then Tanisha says one and done after that. And Angela says with the boyfriend girlfriend stuff, that's a no. And Kelly says most people say they stay because of the kids. And thank you for bringing it up. If you are married, if you are dating your baby father or baby mama or whatever, please don't stay for the kids. That only makes things worse. That makes their life worse because the kids feel that negativity. And so don't do it for them. The best thing you can do for them, especially if it's a conflicting relationship, just go ahead and end the thing. Angela says with counseling when married, and that's a good thing, Angela. I think that's a good thing. If you allow that person to cheat that one time, you have to go do some kind of counseling. But again, I'm going to warn you, it is really hard to trust somebody after they've done that. Just yeah. But Tanisha says one and done. Kelly says there's different levels to cheating. Um, Mike says I do counseling. But if it doesn't get better, I'd be planning my exit, when the love is gone. Right. And sometimes that cheating does change the way you feel about that person. So it might be difficult and it is going to take therapy and it's going to take a lot of therapy to gain that trust if you gain it back. Cuz that person's always going to be suspicious of like what are you doing or you might get accused of a lot of things, but it's just hard. You got to make sure that you're paying attention to the red flags when you're in a relationship. Don't ignore them because they will come back to bite you. And it's so important to pay attention to your mental health and know when you're overwhelmed, know when you have met your limit in a relationship. Just like Kiana and Ronnel, I don't think she paid attention to. I think she, like Mike said and Kelly said, I think trying to put on air for social media and all of that stuff and in order to not be embarrassed, I guess she decided to just take everybody out. Um but yeah. um let's see. Angela says my exit would already be planned just in case therapy doesn't work. Yes, having that plan in place. And Kelly says it's hard to humble yourself when you experience that kind of betrayal and hurt. Yeah, it's that's hard and it is difficult. And nobody knows. I don't know. There are probably people that have regained that back and that trust back after that. I'm sure after years of seeing that the person maybe realized that they made that one mistake, and it'll probably be easier to come back and do that. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. All right. Anything else, y'all? We're at our 50-minute mark. Great topic. Hopefully, someone got something out of it. Share this video. Red flags. What do you think red flags are? Let's list some red flags for people that are listening who may not know what red flags is. And so I will describe what red flags is, but you guys give me a list of red flags. So red flags are the things I feel like it's your intuition or your energy source or your gut feeling telling you that something is not right and not congruent with uh, yourself in a relationship. Say, for example, um, if the person you're dating, you don't hear from them for 4 days, and then all of a sudden they pop up, and that's a pattern of behavior that they do all the time. So of course you're going to start saying, something's not right, because they're not here all the time, and when I call them they're not answering the phone. So that's a red flag. If you're dating somebody, you're supposed to be exclusive with them, and they're doing disappearing acts 2 or 3 days, and then they pop back up. That's a red flag. So it's something that is conflicting with the way you feel about a person. So I see some people starting to name red flags. Mike says when someone excuses me of something, and that accuses me, what, I can't read. When someone accuses me of something that's not it. Okay. And then Tanisha says lack of communication. That's a red flag when you can't communicate with the person, or what they're telling you doesn't sound right, or they keep giving you false stuff and it doesn't feel right. That's a red flag. Mike says when they start hiding stuff and changing the patterns. Yes, that's a big thing. When those behavior patterns start to change, and then when you feel like you walk in the room and they turn the phone down, or they put it down real quick when you come in the room. Um, that's a red flag. Um, Kelly says sitting on the other side of the couch, no communication, conversation, the phone talking weird on the phone, kind of like yeah. I'm gonna be leaving out here, and yeah, all of those are red flags. Yes, Angela says phone calls late at night, always going to his boy's house, and I'm never invited, missing all day, not answering the phone, talking weird on the phone. Yes, 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 yes. These are red flags. And so many of us probably have seen this in relationships, and you got to admit it, you probably ignored it a couple of times until, you know, something happened and you got your proof that you need, and then you got out of there. Tanisha says when their money is funny. Yes, all of a sudden. Yes, because they're spending money probably on somebody else or on something else. Yes. All of these are red flags. All of them are red flags. There's so many more, but if you're listening to this video and you didn't have a clue what red flags are, here's a lot of them. And you start getting that weird feeling, and it's almost like you have self-talk in your head, and you're telling yourself something's not right. Yeah, they're disappearing. They're not answering their phone. I call them 2 or 3 times. They don't pick up on the phone. Then all of a sudden they show up at my house, or like Angela says, they're hanging out with their boys more than they're spending time with you, but y'all are supposed to be dating. Um, the list goes on and on and on and on. But you have to pay attention to the way you feel. And then if you just got to ask somebody, you don't have to say it's you. Just ask somebody, you know what? This is happening in my relationship. What do you think? Somebody you trust, of course. But yeah, these are red flags. Please pay attention to them if you're in a relationship, because usually they don't get better. They usually get worse. And then if you keep allowing it, they really get worse because you're actually telling the person it's okay that you treat me like this, and I'm gonna be here no matter what. And that's not what you want to do. But we have come to the end of the show. I thank y'all for joining. It has been great discussions. Um, Glad y'all decided to spend this 50 something minutes with me on a Friday evening. Glad to see Mike. Mike, we got to do lunch or something soon. Um, yep. And everybody else, I will talk to y'all. Have a great weekend. Do some self care. Take care of yourself. If you're in a relationship, constantly collect data. Always asking questions. It doesn't have to be an interview style. Just kind of ask questions on the sly. You know. But good night, Pat. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I will talk to y'all next week.